Hello, everyone, and welcome to Wiki Week Ends.
You got it.
We got there in the end. We've just finished recording the Wiki Weekdays podcast, so I was like in two mindsets. Yeah, welcome, and we're just going to go through a wiki as we always do. And Carl, this week we're going to be talking, and let me finish my sentence. We're going to be talking about a blue beetle, but not the one you think.
So Blue Beetle is out now, right? Because I think we mentioned it on a podcast, and then I was like, well, it's not technically out yet, so...
Yeah, and I think it's now out, and, no one's watching it, but we're not talking about that. Screw talking about the DCEU or whatever. You know what Blue Beetle we're talking about? We're talking about Big Bad Beetleborgs.
Oh, Big Bad Beetleborgs!
I couldn't even remember that it was called Big Bad Beetleborgs. I just thought it was Beetleborgs.
Yeah, so Big Bad Beetleborgs was like, it was the response to the Power Rangers of like, oh shit, people love this Japanese bollocks. What other Japanese stuff can we buy and dub over and pretend we made it?
Yeah, so it is also known as Saban's Big Bad Beetleborgs. And it was just
Saban as well.
It was Saban as well. I didn't realise that. And it was just like Saban Entertainment got big money off Power Rangers and went, is there any other show that like just has all of this weird like Japanese footage that we can use for? And it's like, I guess so. And it's adapted from the combat footage from Metal Hero Tokusatsu series, Juko B Fighter first season, and B Fighter Kabuto second season.
Right, here's the thing as well. I kind of like Big Bad Beetleborgs.
And I don't really remember whether I do or not, but I have a lot of nostalgia for it. Like, I remember as a kid, I really liked it. I didn't realise, like, when I clicked on this, I was like, oh yeah, I remember it being some, like, Power Rangers rip-off thing, and then didn't realise it was Saban, and then clicked on what the Metal Hero series is.
Hey, you can rip off your own stuff, mate.
That's 3 seasons of footage that it was based off.
Mm-hmm.
But the Metal Hero series started in 1982 with Space Sheriff Gavan.
I can dig
a
it.
Space Sheriff show that then became, like, later down the line, themed a bit more. So it just started out as, like, a very similar thing of, like, similar to Super Sentai or Kamen Rider and things like that, of that ilk. And it just so happened that 3 series were based on, these fighters have beetle-themed armor, so that's the stuff that they ripped off.
Yeah, so that's usually how you do it, isn't it? Like, oh fuck. It's like, what do we do? It's like Power Rangers. Like, the famous thing everyone knows about Power Rangers is that, over here, Power Rangers, it's a group of 5 teenagers. Over in, like, Japan, it was like, the White Ranger was a little kid.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
And like the Yellow Ranger was a man, so like the Yellow Ranger has a dick bulge in our version.
Yeah,
she's weird.
Now it's a fair fight, Mantis.
One dude in a metal space cop generic looking outfit is not quite as fun as like, these are Battleborgs, like. Oh, Beetleborgs, sorry, not Battleborg, Beetleborgs, and it's like, yeah, the Beetle-themed Power Rangers, basically.
So I remember, like, the Big Bad Beetleborgs. I do not remember Flabber. Do you remember Flabber?
Flabber?
Flabber was apparently, like, the villain of the show.
Oh, no, I barely remember anything about Beetleborgs.
Like, why is the villain of the show just, like, Frankenstein Jay Leno?
Oh, no, really?
Yeah, look, I sent it to you. Like, why is he the villain?
Oh my god, yes.
I don't remember him. I
remember that now that I've seen a picture.
Like, what the fuck is Robbie Rotten doing here?
We'll go back from what Big Bad Beetleborgs is, adapted from.
Yes.
But it is an American live-action superhero TV series by Saban Entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
And it was co-produced with Renaissance Atlantic Films, Toei Company, and Bug Boy Productions. The seasons aired on Fox Kids from September 7th, 1996 to March 2nd, 1998. So yeah, late 90s, just double down on Power Rangers, and the fact that, both me and you have nostalgia for it, even though we don't remember it. Like, semi-successful, they just only had a few seasons worth of Beetleborgs footage
Yeah.
to
I
go
was,
off.
I was looking at the IMDb page as well. And do you want, like, the deepest fucking pull?
Well, I think you should leave it for a second.
Okay.
Stop delving, because I did notice one thing.
Okay,
So I don't know if you found the same thing that I did, but...
I might not have, but I just went onto the IMDb page, see if there's any actors in it who've, like, done anything, and none of them have done anything.
well,
It's just all, like, who is
we'll
this?
get onto that in a second.
Okay.
But the series adapted combat footage from, the Metal Hero series, like we talked about, and unlike its contemporaries such as Power Rangers, the show had a greater emphasis on the sitcom elements rather than a villain of the week.
Because they had less footage.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. It's always because they had less footage, isn't it?
It's always the answer. And yeah, Carl, you mentioned the starring section.
Okay, yeah.
And the starring section, there is one person on Wikipedia that has a clickable link when in the list of actors.
Mm-hmm.
And you may or may not know, because you just had a look,
Yeah.
the only person is Vivian Smallwood.
No, I didn't see that one. Who the hell's Vivian Smallwood?
Vivian Smallwood is the rapping granny from The Wedding Singer.
Oh, Auntie Vivian, yeah.
And
No, I don't actually know her, no. Just Smallwood is a very unusual name, so I usually
exactly,
get asked,
and that's
this
just the
person?
one thing that really stood out to me as, like, the one clickable, like, star of this show is a Smallwood. And I thought Carl might find that just funny.
No, 'cause the one that I saw is Terrence J. Rotolo. And you might not recognise that name, but he's the voice of Frank West, and he plays the Green Beetleborg when it's for the stuntman.
Oh,
So
right.
Frank West is the Green Beetleborg.
Yeah, no, it hasn't even got that person's list in the starring, because obviously, like, if they're in stunt work and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, get fucked. No one cares about the people in the costumes.
No, they don't. They don't. And, yeah, I absolutely love the fact that in my head, the Beetleborgs were, like, these big power armor, like Beetles, but they're just Power Rangers with little horns on their head.
Yeah.
And it's like, they really don't look as cool as I remember them being.
The thing is, the Power Rangers look lamer than I remember, because it's just spandex.
Yeah. And the helmets are really cool in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
The rest is just like some random coloured spandex with diamonds on it.
Like, the thing that makes the Power Rangers one just so good is because it's just primary colours. That first one they did, like, it's like the Tekken problem of, like, the more bullshit you add to the costumes, the less cool it is.
But Power Rangers never really went too far with it. They always kind of stuck with that element of just power armor, primary colours. Like, and each of them had, like, themed bullshit on them, but none of them ever became, like, Digimon.
They never got as bad as that, no, but, like, later ones where, like, you get, like, Power Rangers, like, Thunder Rangers and stuff like that. They started putting bolting plastic bits of to a costume.
Yeah, but it never got... it's never been, like, simple and sleek like it was in the early seasons with no budget, but, like, I don't ever think the Super Sentai outfits got too crazy and over the top. I think
they never got as busy as, like, a Digimon or a Beetleborg.
Yeah, and, like,
for example.
I do think, obviously, there's probably some examples where the Megazords probably got super complicated.
Yeah.
But in terms of the actual just Sentai Ranger outfits, I don't think they ever did.
Thing is, though, it will never get a cleaner design than the Red Ranger, just basic Red Ranger outfit from Mighty Morphin, and the Green Ranger. With, like, the dragon elements on the helmet and, like, the pauldrons that were, like, gold.
The pauldrons made it, yeah.
Yeah, like, that was,
absolutely.
like, peak, like, just little kid looking and going, fuck yeah.
I love looking back and you're thinking, oh man, you know, like the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers with, like, the power armor, and, like, the Green Ranger with, like, the cool pauldrons, and it's, like, spandex with some really, like, light rubbery material for the pauldrons.
Hey,
like,
mate, you know that would kick your fucking ass.
like,
as soon as you start,
a stiff breeze would kick the ass of that armor, though.
as soon as you started getting those Kiars,
Kia!
nothing will ever top, like, rip in peace Jason David Frank with, like, the most forceful Kia. Like, every time he does, like, 14 backflips, I'm like, hell yeah.
That's the thing is, I don't remember too much of Beetleborgs, but I'm just like, I had that depressing moment when I went, well, what's a topic that like is kind of relevant? And I was like, I don't want to talk about DC anymore. I don't want to talk about Blue Beetle. And it's not for the sake of Blue Beetle, the character. It's for the fatigue I have with those DC films.
Yeah, I feel so bad for the actor, like the lead actor for Blue Beetle, because he's like the lead guy from
Cobra Kai, right?
Cobra Kai, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's really good in that. And he's a really good like martial artist and stuntman.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it's really cool to see, like, oh, here's a young martial artist who could go on to be a big action star. Because like all the action stars now are like 40, 50 years old. Here's a young one who could like, go on to do cool things. Mm-hmm. And the first thing he appears in is like a superhero movie. Excellent. Blue Beetle.
And that's the thing as well, is like, it's unfortunate as well because Blue Beetle's like one of the first like Hispanic characters to get a prominent role. And then they've like, it's like at the back end of this DCU that no one gives a shit about, that like has just followed on from The Flash and Shazam 2. And like during the strike where the actors can't even promote it. And it's like, it just the fact that like I feel so sorry for the people in those roles who got absolutely shafted by just everything that has happened with Blue Beetle.
Yeah, and as well that the lesson the studio's going to learn from it is like Hispanic-led movies don't do well. Instead of just like, how about stop making shit movies?
Mm-hmm. And I hope that's not the takeaway, but the cynical part in you is like, it's exactly what they're going to do. Same with like when they were trying to prove that like, oh well, Catwoman shows that female-led superheroes will never do well. It's like, no, Catwoman was just a terrible movie. Yeah. Elektra was awful. We'll go back to talking about maybe, more favourable adaptation of a Blue Beetle, of just the synopsis of both of the seasons for Beetleborgs.
Yeah.
Because I am interested in knowing what, like, as you say, dodgy Jay Leno's doing, just what's happening here. So it's set in the fictional town of Charterville. 3 typical average kids, Andrew McCormick, played by Wesley Barker, and his sister Josephine McCormick, Shannon Chandler, later Brittany Konazuski, and their best friend Roland Williams, Herbie Bays, enter the supposedly haunted Hillhurst mansion after accepting a dare from some rich snobs, Van and Tripp. Everyone's favourite snobs of Van and Tripp.
No, that's they can't be real names, right?
I think they are American names, yes.
Okay, like Braden.
Like, everyone's favourite, Van Wilder.
Remember, don't be a fool. Wrap your tool.
Thanks, Van. Thanks a lot.
Don't thank me. Thank Penicillin.
Like Ryan Reynolds' first roles.
Yeah,
it's weird to think he used to be like a rom-com guy.
But you can see it, though.
Yeah, he's a very handsome dude, yeah, but like you just think like...
He's also a funny guy. He's a charming guy.
It's weird watching his rom-coms where he's not funny, where you can tell they told him not to be funny. Mm-hmm. And it's just a straight-up romantic... He's just like romantic lead, and he's not funny.
In a rom-com minus the com.
Yeah.
They weren't good romance movies either.
I still think the top tier one is the one with Sandra Bullock. That's like Ryan Reynolds at the peak of being Ryan Reynolds, with Sandra Bullock at the peak of Sandra Bullock. And it's the one where like he's her assistant and they pretend to be married.
God knows.
But it has like the famous shot in it, where it's both Sandra Bullock and Ryan Reynolds are completely stark-bollock naked.
I still remember how weird people got when like Deadpool came out and the R-rated version, like it showed dong.
Just straight up dong.
Everyone lost their shit.
And the thing's all like Ryan Reynolds found it funny.
It's not like sexy, picturesque Ryan Reynolds.
No, it's like some big old. He's just hanging dong, but it's like that scorched chipolata.
So the house that they are told to go into by Van and Tripp is revealed to be the home of real monsters, Carl. And in the likes of Universal monsters are set to eat the kids.
Of course they fucking are.
However, in the midst of a chase, the kids accidentally bump into a pipe organ, releasing a phasm named Flabber.
Lucas, when do the Beetleborgs come in? Where do the Beetleborgs come in? I don't remember. Where's all this? I don't remember any of this backstory.
Flabber proves to be friendly, Carl. And in return for releasing him, he offers to grant them one wish.
And their wish
they wish to become their comic book heroes, the big bad Beetleborgs.
Wait a minute. What's going on? We're stuck in the comic book.
That is such a convoluted story that you would only like believe as a kid. It's like that sounds like the most tortured way to get around to. We have this footage. How do we justify using it?
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. This was original footage, right? Because this is using all of the American children actors.
That's the weird thing as well of like the idea of okay, so how do we justify using footage of the big bad Beetleborgs? So we can't just so they bump into this weird like sex predator looking like Frankenstein man, and then he lets them become beetle heroes. It's like what's that?
It's like they nearly get eaten by genuine monsters. That this is before the magic has occurred yet.
Mm-hmm.
So they go into a haunted mansion full of real monsters that are going to eat them, release a genie from a pipe organ, who then turns them into comic book heroes. However, that also brings the Beetleborgs' sworn enemies to life, the Magnivores, led by the evil Vexor.
Do you know what? It was still, as a kid, I bet I still loved it because I get to see like the Beetleborgs slap people's shit. It's like the other one over here, we had Masked Rider, which is Kamen Rider in Japan. And I still call Kamen Rider the Masked Rider. And all I know is it's a guy on a motorcycle who drop kicks people. That's all you need.
It is. Because Power Rangers did it, I guess, like, the Metal series had to do it.
Okay.
In a six-parter,
A six-parter, okay.
Vexor created his own Beetleborg, Shadowborg, who's a match for the Beetleborgs, and briefly took their powers.
I need to look at what Shadowborg looks like.
Shadowborg.
What does Shadowborg from Big Bag Beetleborgs look like?
Oh, and even better, Carl. Because of Shadowborg, they had to call a temporary Beetleborg the White Blaster Beetleborg. And after Shadowborg was destroyed, Josh lost his powers, aka the White Blaster Beetleborg lost his powers after the fight.
I will say though, the image of a robotic beetle with a shotgun is pretty fucking strong. So did you see that art someone did the other day of like, oh, I drew some Zelda fan art, but she's got a shotgun in this one. And it's just Zelda praying, and it was just a shotgun, and it's like, what?
Oh my, yeah, I've just googled Shadowborg. I remember Shadowborg.
It looked rad as shit, doesn't it?
Man, that's such just the Green Ranger episode with a different font.
Yeah. Oh man, just so you know, if you want to put it in the video after the fact, just Zelda but with a shotgun. You have to like just do a double check for the original artist so you can credit them. But
yes, of course.
It's that's like the person who nicked it for Reddit. But I did see it on Twitter the other day, but I forget the name of the Twitter handle where they posted it. Always credit people, folks.
I'll try and do my best to track that down.
If you have just Zelda with a shotgun, it's terrifying.
In the penultimate episode of the first season, Carl, the Magnivores steal a picture of a new villain named Nucus from Art Fortune's office. They bring him to life to enlist his help in destroying the Beetleborgs. I keep saying Battleborgs.
The Battleborgs. The Battle Beetleborgs.
Nucus assists them by planning devastating attacks on the city and creating the Borg Slayer, a hybrid of all the Magnivore monsters. But, unbeknownst to the Magnivores, Carl, Nucus was actually plotting to get rid of them.
Okay.
Nucus
sounds like a plot.
Tells Trip and Van how to defeat the Borg Slayer and orders them to take the information to the Beetleborgs. They succeed in destroying Borg Slayer, causing the Magnivores to be swept back into the comics.
And here's the thing, we're like being baffled at how convoluted and stupid this is, but I guarantee if Beetleborgs came first, we'd be doing the exact same thing about Power Rangers. Yeah. It's only because we have nostalgia for Power Rangers that we like overlook how stupid it is.
Power Rangers was just as dumb.
It was first, and therefore the one we remember more. Mm-hmm. And just in that vein, like I was just like, I was looking at like who was the villain from Power Rangers. I forgot. It was like the witch lady, Rita Repulsa.
Yeah, Rita Repulsa. Yeah.
Do you know in like later seasons that she became a human? And why is like human Rita Repulsa like so fucking hot? Like look at this, human Rita Repulsa. Why did they do that?
Why did they just make her some random young human?
But that's the lady who played her.
No.
Because they got a new lady to play when they ran out of footage from the Japanese version.
Oh, right, okay. I was like, that is not the original old woman that played Rita Repulsa.
No, but like she looks almost like exactly like her in costume.
Right.
But then they did an episode where she's human, and then I just found this thread like, why is human Rita Repulsa so fucking hot? What's going on? The thing is that when you look at human Lord Zed, and you think, man, human Lord Zed does nowhere near match up human Rita Repulsa. What's going on?
No, why is he, like, just a random dude from the suburbs with a fucking sweater vest?
But then, like, Rita Repulsa's just like, oh yeah, night on the town.
Like, the sweater's just what's getting me. Why does Lord Zed need the sweater?
It's probably the actor who played him, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I still remember when I was looking up, like, the actor who played Zordon lived in Huddersfield, and I couldn't stop laughing. Just the idea that Zordon lived in Huddersfield.
Like, Zordon came in, recorded for, like, half hour, got paid a pittance, and then, like, they reused that footage just over and over again on loop.
He was just, like I said, he's just a guy from Huddersfield.
And he got ripped the fuck off.
They all did. That's why they all quit.
Yeah.
But
like Zordon got ripped off hard.
Yeah, because like he was just they paid him for like 30 seconds worth of work.
Yeah. They literally paid him for one session of basically no work and then never gave him any residuals or anything after the fact. And it was like they used that footage for seasons. Like, he must have been in hundreds of episodes of Power Rangers and got paid, like, a fucking pork pie for it.
Didn't get paid jack shit.
Yeah. And it's like, maybe we should be paying actors and writers what they deserve.
There's a reason they're all, like, striking for residuals. I just, like, some of those things of, like, oh, yeah, like, Succession is the biggest show on TV right now. It's all, like, a billion individual views across like all platforms, and like the guy who wrote it's like, here's my residual check, and it's like $8. There was that other show where it was, oh yeah, this show just came out, like the last episode aired yesterday, it's been taken off HBO Max tomorrow. Like, they didn't even leave it up for a week.
I just want to quickly get to the start of season 2 here.
Let's go.
Because like obviously the main enemy, the Borgs, are like the Borgs have defeated the Borg Slayer, and the Magnivores have been swept back into the comics.
Yeah.
The start of season 2, Nukus has challenged the Beetleborgs. Despite Art's warning that Nukus is too powerful, they face him anyway. But he wipes them out, destroying the Beetleborgs' armor, weapons, and powers in one fell swoop. Yeah. This led into the second season called Beetleborgs Metallics with an X. Nukus discovers that his creator is actually Art's incarcerated brother, Les Fortunes. Nukus busts Les out of prison and uses some of Les's drawings to summon his own group of villains called the Crustaceans. Les now serves Nukus by creating new monsters for him to use. In response to the rise of Crustaceans, Art creates new powers, armor, vehicles, and weapons, which Flabber then brings to life again for the kids, who rechristen themselves as Beetleborgs Metallics, hence the title.
All it is like, okay, the next in Japan, the way they do it is we just replace like Power Rangers was the Power Rangers change every year. It's not the same Power Rangers. It's a new set of people. But in America, people got attached to the Power Rangers.
Yes.
So they had to they had to come up with a bullshit explanation of why their costumes change. And I imagine it's the same thing for Beetleborgs of we've got to keep the same actors, but the costumes change. So you've got a bullshit explanation for why the costumes change. And I did look it up as well.
Did the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers all of a sudden go into space?
Yeah, why are they ninjas now? They had a crossover with the Power Rangers, and like the actual...
They did.
The episode, though, is clearly just footage from one and footage from the other, and then the monster's like, no! And they never interact on screen.
Let's toss this guy.
And I will say as well, I'd say looked up the Metal Hero series a little bit, and the one series after the Beatles themed one is one where it becomes like a dog, and it's like animal themed. And let me show you, like the robot that was part of that one.
Okay,
and it's like, I don't know, Carl, if you're familiar with Bluey.
Yeah, that's just Robo Bluey.
It's Robo Bluey, but red. And I'm like, what?
What? Do you know what that is? That's like the Mega Man Zero to Bluey's Mega Man. That's the
like,
Zero. Like, yeah,
Why
that
has Bluey got a Japanese cousin that's like a Beatles Borg spin-off? And bear in mind, this Metal Hero series is from 1998. It's like, it looks so much like Bluey.
It's like, did Bluey rip off Big Bad Beetleborgs?
Did Bluey rip off Metal Hero Tetsuwan Tentai Robotech?
I bet they did. That does look suspiciously like Bluey to me.
And it is just like, pretty generic looking, like an anthropomorphic dog. But it's like, the moment I googled it, I was like, this is just Bluey.
That looks so much like Bluey. I also did as well. I'm wondering if you can put a clip in of the theme song. So just for comparison's sake, is the theme song at least good? Because it was written by Hayam Saban, and he did do the Power Rangers theme song, or did he phone it in? So I'm curious for in the final edit, did he phone it in? Because that Power Rangers theme song goes so hard.
It does, yeah. So how hard does the Beetleborgs theme? The Beetleborgs!
The Big Bad Beetleborgs.
How hard does the Beetleborgs theme go?
My guess is not as hard as the Power Rangers theme song, because nothing will ever go harder from a TV show intro standpoint than... I think it stands up there. People talk about anime intros going so hard. The Power Rangers one goes so hard, especially with the guitar solo.
There was a TikTok doing the rounds not long ago of did you know that the person who made the Power Rangers theme made the X-Men theme? And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense, but
same guy, yeah,
the X-Men theme doesn't rip as hard as Mighty Morphin Power Rangers theme does.
Yeah.
Both excellent.
Yeah, the only one that I think goes anywhere near as hard is the one that I always bring up of the Iron Man cartoon, where it's like him hitting the anvil with a hammer. It's like, I am Iron Man. As every time he hits the anvil, another Iron Man armor comes out as a ghost. That one goes so hard.
90s Spider-Man, of course.
Oh, it just starts screaming. A screaming guitar solo is like, radioactive spider blood, radioactive spider blood. And you're like, oh, it's 90s Spider-Man.
Oh, 90s intros, they went hard.
They did. It's like, why don't intros go that hard anymore? So I would be embarrassed.
That's why we were weeping up and watching animes instead now.
I would be so embarrassed making the Secret Wars intro with AI and then go look at the X-Men intro in Japan in the 90s. Where they got an actual real band in and they just sung Shock, and it is incredible.
Oh, but yeah, let us know in the comments if you've got any nostalgia for the big bad Beetleborgs, or if you've seen Blue Beetle. I'm sure there's someone out there.
There's probably more people out there who watch Blue Beetle. There's probably more people out there who watch Beetleborgs than Blue Beetle.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. No, unfortunately, it was a good show.
Well, no, I am upset for
I feel bad for the actor
that made Blue Beetle happen. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel bad for the actor, but I don't feel bad for the universe because just let it die. Let it fucking die.
Aquaman 2's still gotta come out. Let's go.
I keep forgetting that Aquaman 2 exists.